Yo, dude, thank you very much for your check-ins there. Um, I'm just going to kind of jump straight into it. Really, I kind of in my head knew that there was something potentially going on, and I hadn't looked on your sheets during the week, but I know um, when you get quiet, then normally something's happened. Sometimes I watch your stories. I watch what all my clients do on a sort of day-to-day basis through Instagram, etc. And I know you do post on a regular basis. So you were quite quiet this week. So I kind of knew in the back of my head that potentially something else was going on. And I do the same thing as well. Once there's life stresses and other things to worry about, the last thing on my mind is posting on Instagram. And I kind of had that feeling with yourself as well. And then obviously the late check-in, I sort of just had to ask you if you're okay to check in. I don't mind. I don't mind having a phone call or whatever's gone on. I've always got time for you, so don't feel like I haven't got time to, even if it's a phone call or a face call on the iPhone or whatever it is. I've always got time for you, so don't feel like I don't. Um, if I'm not free at that exact moment, I'll just say, okay, cool. By all means, we'll have a phone call. Just give me half an hour or so, and then I'll set that aside for you. So don't, like I said again, don't feel like I don't have time for you because I do, and I want obviously every client that comes on board with me, I want to create a really good relationship with. I want you to, be able to check in with me and be honest with me, which, to be honest, by what you have been, which is really good to hear because I hate it when people lie or try and hide things and you're not, and it's really good. So just to kind of put that out there. So you had a kind of really shit week. You haven't trained, you haven't tracked any macros, you basically haven't done anything. You've had a really shit week with work, with messing around with your shifts. You've had some stresses and drama in terms of the burst water mains. So these are just sort of things that life throws at us. Um, on a day-to-day basis, on a day-to-day, struggles, shit happens. Whether it's a phone breaks, car breaks down, just stuff like this happens, and you don't really expect it. And when you don't expect things like that, you do create further stresses, and you do stress about these things, which is a human normality thing to do. What I would say is I don't give two craps about macros, training, food intake, bodybuilding. The only thing I care about right now is to make sure that you're a happy individual and a happy client equals results. I don't care about you not adhering to a protocol. I want to make sure that you're happy and your mindset's happy, and you're just a happy individual because that's really all that matters. So don't put yourself down too much in terms of the previous week. Don't worry about that week at all. Almost put it in a box, forget about it, sort of lock it up, and just tomorrow's a new day. It's Monday, beginning of the week. So just kind of lock that up, like I said, put it in a box, throw it out the window, and don't put yourself down too much either. At the end of the day, we're all human, and stresses take over us, and things take over us anyway. I'm a prime example of that. From what I've gone through, the stresses and shit that I've had to deal with in the past, that overtook my life, and therefore bodybuilding was put on the side. And I'm not saying it's an extreme, what's happened with you this week, but that does take over people's lives, especially when you got a family, you got a dog, you got bills. It's a completely different story. So just please, kind of chill. Don't worry too much. Just forget about it, lock it up, and put it in a box somewhere. Tomorrow's a new day. Um, I honestly do feel like you're getting a bit demotivated with the process in terms of going towards a bodybuilding show. Now, I know I haven't seen progress pictures for a while, but 7 weeks is a short amount of time, and I kind of know there's a lot of work to be done, especially with the weight that we're still hovering around. Um, Personally, I know from the last couple of weeks you've had really sort of a lot of stresses you've been taking on. The dog. You've got to, you've got wife now, a property, a house, bills, job, 2 jobs. So if like personally, I'm not sure if I want to add this bodybuilding prep extra stress to your life. Maybe, and it's okay to admit that maybe it's not the right moment in time to prep for a bodybuilding show. You know, maybe you're not in a position to do that. I don't know. It's entirely up to you as well. Just from the back of my mind, from the last 2 weeks, you have been a bit demotivated. When you did start off, it was great, and let's go, let's go. But as the weeks have gone on, I feel like you have been a bit demotivated with the process. But that's just from my point of view. The last thing I want to do is add this bodybuilding prep as an extra stress for you. I don't want bodybuilding prep should be something you want to do and something that you. It shouldn't add extra stress to your life. It should just be a part of your life. That is something you should enjoy it. And when you're not, that's when the process and results start to slow down. So just let me know. Be honest with me. Potentially, let's have a phone call after this, and just let me know what you think. If you still want to go for it, what I would advise to do is just take one day at a time. Like tomorrow, just weigh in. Keep your sheets open on your laptop if you can. So what I do is I have my, I'm coached by AJ. I keep his sheets open 24/7. So every time on the Monday morning tomorrow, I'll weigh in, and as soon as I weigh in, I'll write it down on the sheet, write down the weight, and then I'll go about my day. And just before I go to bed, I'll write down all the macros. I'll write down whether I trained. I'll just look at my Fitbit, see how many steps I've done, and then whether or not that night I had a really bad sleep or not. And I take it day by day by day. I do that every day, and then obviously on the Sunday it's a weekly wrap up, and everything's filled in, ready to go. And the same with training as well. At the end of the night, just before I go to bed, I fill in my training protocol, my training section, so I know that that's done. And on Sunday, I don't have to stress about filling everything in. All I have to do is send a video response and letting them know of how the week's gone. So that's my advice if you still want to compete. Now, if you still want to compete, then absolutely by all means we will just keep going. We will get you in the best shape we can possibly get you in. Like, I don't, to be honest, even if you just step on stage not in condition, you just enjoy it, feel the, get a feel for what bodybuilding is like, and posing, etc. Who cares? It's for charity anyway. So if you still want to do it, then let's go, and we'll just get you in the best shape we possibly can. If you still want to do it, then let me know. What I would advise you do, like I said, just take every day as you can. Just get back to the normal macros, get back to the cardio, get back to the steps. Just take every day as you can. I would like a reply from this. Just let me know. If you don't, and if you honestly sort of sit there and go, you know what, Kane, you're probably right. If I'm going to put my hands up on this one. I do not want to do this. Then what other goals do you have in mind? Potentially, do you want to just lose more weight, get in a better body composition, learn more about training? Do you want to just sort of feel better about yourself and then potentially go into a prolonged bulk? What other goals did you have in mind? Did you want to do something, potentially do a power building program, which is something I can put together for you, or a powerlifting program, or whatever it is? Just let me know, have a conversation with me. Do you still potentially want to work with me? That's another question you've got to ask yourself. You did come to me initially for a bodybuilding show, but if you don't want to do that, then, and you feel like, okay, Kane, I don't actually really need your coaching at this moment in time, I'll just go off and do my own thing, then let me know as well. I'm just being transparent and honest with you. So before I listened to your voice messages as well, I did sort of I look over your sheets normally before I listen to your voice message or video response, and I noticed that this is if you want to carry on with the prep, you didn't want to have any straight leg deadlifts in, so I changed those to straight leg single leg curls for your hamstrings. Now, you are missing out on a massive movement dominant for your hamstrings, but I know that can put a lot of stress on your lower back, and sometimes as well it's a very big movement that you can't recover well from, especially if you're in a deficit as well. So I've replaced them for single leg curls. I'm sure your gym has a single leg curl machine, so like single leg at a time, plate loaded, if you've got one. And if you can, I would like to see some progress pictures at some point, potentially just tomorrow. Don't stress about it today. And then also on Thursday, if you just give me a midweek check-in, just give me a message or a voice message just going, heads up, Kane, yeah, okay, this week's gone really well. I've stuck to the macros, stuck to this, and you should just give yourself a pat on the back. So I guess there's a few pointers from this feedback, and that is just to don't sort of bring yourself down too much. Just forget about last week, put it in a box, lock it away. Don't stress about it. Do you still want to continue with the process? If so, okay, let's just get back to normal macros. Let's just get back to cardio. Let's get back to steps and just sort of resume the process, because the worst thing to do is take food away, because it'll just be unsustainable. If not, let me know of what goals you want to do, and we'll go from there. So hope you're enjoying the rest of your day. I think France are playing Croatia or something, and I'm not really interested in football, but I know you're watching it, so interested to see who wins and goes for the final. I'll watch the final for sure. But I hope you're having a good day, enjoying your afternoon, and we'll chat soon for sure. So yeah, cheers, Aaron, and we'll speak soon.